There's a traitor in your life. They reveal your strategies to your enemies. They destroy your leverage in negotiations. They hand ammunition to those who wish you harm. This traitor is your mouth. And right now, it's destroying your power. Most people imagine their enemies plotting in secret rooms, writing down their weaknesses, planning their downfall. But the real conspiracy happens every time you open your mouth to fill a pause. Every unnecessary word is a bullet, and you're loading the gun yourself, then handing it to your opponent. Machiavelli understood this 5 centuries ago. Men are destroyed by what they say, not by what their enemies know. Watch any conversation carefully. When silence falls, people panic. Their shoulders tense, their eyes dart. The pause feels like physical pain, like judgment hanging in the air. So they speak, they confess, they explain, they justify, and in that moment, they lose. For 99% of people, conversational silence is unbearable. It triggers the same neural pathways as social rejection. The brain interprets quiet as danger, as abandonment, as death. But here's what they don't understand. Silence isn't empty. It's heavy, it has weight, mass, gravity. And when you learn to wield it, that weight becomes a weapon. This video reveals 7 specific situations where your words are betraying you, where your need to speak is handing victory to your enemies, and where silence will make you unstoppable. Picture this. You've made your offer. The number hangs in the air. 3 seconds pass. Your chest tightens. Cortisol floods your system. The silence feels like rejection, like failure, like you've asked for too much. So you speak, but I'm flexible on that number. We could work something out. What were you thinking? Congratulations. You just bid against yourself. Here's what's happening in your brain. When conversation stops, your amygdala fires. It interprets silence as social death. Your nervous system screams at you to fix it, to smooth it over, to make the discomfort stop. Smart people fall for this trap constantly. They rush to fill the void with explanations, with concessions, with softer positions. They negotiate themselves down before the other person says a word. Powerful negotiators understand something different. They count. 3 seconds. 4, 5. They let the silence get heavy. Oppressive. They don't fidget. Don't look away. Don't shift in their seat. They simply exist in the void. And watch what happens. The other person cracks. Always. They start talking, revealing their real budget, their actual timeline, their deepest concerns. They spill secrets just to end the pressure. By sitting in silence, you signal something profound. You don't need their validation. You don't need their approval. You don't need the deal. And paradoxically, this makes them need you. The 3-second rule is simple. After you speak in any negotiation, count to 3. Slowly. If they haven't responded, count to 5. Then 7. Let the silence do your work. Most people break at 4 seconds. Their discomfort becomes your leverage. Their anxiety becomes your advantage. Their need to speak becomes your victory. Success makes you stupid. The dopamine hit of victory floods your system. You feel invincible, untouchable, and in that chemical high, you make a fatal error. You explain how you won. Watch any successful person after a major win. the promotion, the deal, the conquest. They can't help themselves. They share the strategy, the insider knowledge, the clever maneuver that secured victory. They hand out the manual to their own defeat. Here's what they don't see. Every explanation educates your competition. Every revealed strategy shows enemies exactly how your mind works, where you look for opportunity, how you evaluate risk, what you consider victory. You're teaching them how to beat you next time. But it goes deeper. When you broadcast success, you trigger something primal in others. Envy, not admiration. Envy. Your victory highlights their defeats. Your strength emphasizes their weakness. Your rise reminds them of their stagnation. You wake sleeping wolves. Machiavelli warned that a prince should never reveal his methods. Once the magician explains the trick, the magic dies. The audience stops clapping. They start competing. The powerful approach is different. Celebrate in private. Let the results speak. When asked how you succeeded, smile slightly. Lucky timing. Right place, right time. Things just worked out. Give them nothing. Your methods remain yours. Your strategies stay hidden. Your next victory stays protected. The most dangerous predators hunt in silence. They don't roar before the strike. Neither should you. Someone insults you, questions your competence, attacks your character. Your biology screams one command: attack back, defend yourself, destroy them. This impulse will destroy you. Here's what happens when you yell back. You reveal your soft spots. Every angry word tells them exactly where you're vulnerable, what threatens your identity, where your insecurities hide. You hand them a map to your weaknesses. Think about this carefully. If someone can make you lose control with a few words, they own you. They have the remote control to your nervous system. They press a button. You dance. The most terrifying response to an insult isn't a scream. It's silence. A slow look. A slight tilt of the head. Then, if you must speak, a calm question. Is that what you really think? Interesting perspective. I'll consider that. Your voice stays level. Your breathing stays steady. Your face stays neutral. Watch what happens to the aggressor. They expected fireworks, drama, a show. Instead, they get nothing. No fuel for their fire. No reaction to feed on. No chaos to create. They look like a child having a tantrum, while you look like an adult watching one. By refusing to react, you deny them what they crave. Attention, drama, proof of their power over you. Instead, you demonstrate something far more threatening. Complete emotional sovereignty, unshakable self-control, absolute mastery over your internal state. Control isn't about dominating others. It's about owning yourself so completely that no one else can. Friday night. Drinks flowing, inhibitions dropping, guards lowering. This is where careers die, where marriages end, where secrets become weapons. Alcohol creates artificial intimacy. The warmth in your chest feels like trust. The relaxation feels like safety. The laughter feels like bonding. It's all a lie. Your drunk coworker isn't your friend. They're an information gatherer with lowered judgment. Tomorrow, they'll remember every word, every complaint about your boss, every confession about your marriage, every doubt about your career, and eventually, they'll use it. Watch the most successful people at social events. They drink, they laugh, they tell stories, but notice what they don't share. No complaints about work, no details about relationships, no revelations about struggles. They give energy to the party, but keep their data locked away. They understand the vault strategy. Be social with your presence. Be silent with your problems. Listen while others open their souls. Ask questions while they spill secrets. Sympathize while they reveal weaknesses. You'll wake up with your dignity intact. They'll wake up with anxiety, wondering what they said, who heard it, what it might cost them. Information is currency in the modern world. Every secret you share is money you're spending. Every confession is equity you're trading. Every complaint is power you're giving away. And you're trading it for what? Temporary connection, fleeting validation, cheap bonding. The price is too high. Privacy isn't antisocial. It's strategic. The person who knows everyone's secrets but shares none of their own holds all the cards. Be that person. Someone questions your decision. Immediately, you feel the urge to explain, to justify, to tell the whole story, to make them understand. This urge will diminish you. There's an ancient principle, qui s'excuse s'accuse. He who excuses himself accuses himself. Every word of explanation confirms their right to judge you. Every justification acknowledges their authority over you. Every defense weakens your position. Watch true authority figures when questioned. A CEO asked about a controversial decision. A general questioned about strategy. A master questioned about technique. They don't launch into explanations. They don't provide lengthy justifications. They don't tell stories. They state facts. I made the decision I believed was best. The strategy serves our objectives. The technique works. End of discussion. No whining, no stories, no seeking understanding. This creates an interesting tension. The questioner expects defense, explanation, submission to their inquiry. Instead, they get a wall. Not aggressive, not defensive, just solid, impenetrable, unmoved. Most people trade respect for sympathy. They want others to understand their struggle, to appreciate their difficulty, to validate their choices. But sympathy is worthless currency. Respect pays dividends. Sympathy gets you pity. Respect gets you power. Choose wisely. When you must respond to questioning, use the non-explanation. I assessed the situation and acted accordingly. The decision aligned with my principles. I did what needed to be done. These aren't explanations. They're declarations. They communicate that your actions need no subtitles, no commentary, no approval. Your decisions stand on their own merit, or they don't. Either way, you won't beg for understanding. You see the mistake coming, the wrong strategy, the flawed approach, the obvious error. Your mouth opens to help. Stop. This impulse will create enemies. Here's what happens when you offer unsolicited wisdom. You signal superiority. You bruise egos. You create resentment, especially with superiors. Every correction says, I'm smarter. Every suggestion says, you're inadequate. Every piece of advice says, you need me. People don't hear help. They hear hierarchy. Think about this dynamic. When you always jump in to fix things, what are you becoming? The mechanic, not the architect. The cleaner, not the creator. The support, not the sovereign. Your wisdom becomes cheap. Your expertise becomes expected. Your value becomes assumed. There's a darker truth here. When you give expertise freely, supply exceeds demand. The market value crashes. Your knowledge becomes worthless. But when you withhold it, when you let others struggle, when you watch them fail, suddenly your expertise becomes precious, scarce, valuable. The strategy is simple. Wait for the ask. Let them come to you. Let them request your insight. Let them acknowledge your superiority by seeking your help. Then, maybe, you share a fraction of what you know, but here's the darkest power. Sometimes you let them fail completely. You watch the project crumble, the strategy collapse, the approach fail. Then, when they're desperate, you step in. Your solution isn't just helpful now, it's salvation. Your expertise isn't just valuable, it's vital. Your presence isn't just useful, it's essential. Keep your competence like a sword in its sheath, hidden, protected, ready. Draw it only when the moment demands, when the value is highest, when the impact is greatest. Otherwise, let it rest, silent, dangerous, waiting. The conversation gets uncomfortable. They need something from you. A favor, time, resources. The pressure builds. The expectation hangs. The silence waits. So you speak. Sure, I can do that. You just entered prison. Here's what most people don't understand about promises. Every commitment creates an open loop in your brain. Psychologists call it the Zeigarnik effect. Unfinished tasks consume mental energy. Unfulfilled promises drain psychological resources. Broken commitments create anxiety that never fully leaves. Watch what happens after you make a promise under pressure. You leave the conversation relieved. The tension is gone. The discomfort ended, but something else began. A weight on your mind. A debt on your soul, a chain on your time. You traded momentary comfort for lasting obligation. You escaped 5 seconds of tension. You created 5 weeks of anxiety. The Machiavellian approach is different. Become stingy with promises. Treat your word like gold, because it is. When pressed for commitment, you have a powerful phrase. I need to check my commitments. Let me see what's possible. I'll have to review my capacity. Not no, not yes, just space. This does something interesting. It creates respect for your time. Your yes becomes valuable because it's rare. Your commitment becomes meaningful because it's scarce. But more importantly, it preserves your flexibility, your options, your power to choose. Most people are imprisoned by their own promises, trapped by their need to be liked, enslaved by their fear of disappointing others. They say yes to avoid tension, then live in permanent stress. Make your word rare. Make your yes iron. When you commit, deliver completely. When you can't, don't. The temporary discomfort of refusing is nothing compared to the permanent weight of false promises. Your integrity isn't just about keeping your word. It's about being selective with when you give it. These 7 situations are why you feel drained. Why, despite working hard, you lose ground. Why others seem to advance while you stay stuck. Your mouth is sabotaging your power. Your words are feeding your enemies. Your need to speak is destroying your strength. But now you see the architecture, the structure of subjugation, the blueprint of your own defeat. Silence is the bridge between the image you show the world and the reality you keep hidden, between the person they think you are and the power you actually hold, between the weakness they expect and the strength they fear. When you stop filling the air with noise, something interesting happens. Others project onto your silence, their fears, their desires, their assumptions. You become a mirror for their own psychology, a monument to their own insecurities, a mystery they can't solve. And in trying to solve you, they reveal themselves completely. The unstoppable aren't those who speak loudest. They're those who speak least, who move in shadows, who strike from silence, who win before others know the game has started. For those ready to step deeper into dark psychology, into the architect level of human behavior, more secrets await behind the join button. But remember this, your greatest power isn't what you say, it's what you don't. Your words are arrows in a quiver. The fool fires them at every sound, every movement, every shadow, until he stands empty, vulnerable, defeated. The master remains still. His silence becomes a dark forest, impenetrable, unknowable, dangerous. He draws his bow only when the target is clear. The moment is perfect. The victory is certain. And the arrows he never fired? Those are the ones his enemies fear most, because they never know what remains hidden in his quiver, waiting, silent, ready. You've just learned what most people pay thousands to discover. But knowledge without action is mental masturbation. The question is what you'll do next. Will you return to your old patterns, speaking when you should be silent, revealing when you should conceal? Or will you join the architects? The video on your screen reveals the opposite truth. When strategic speech becomes your greatest weapon. Subscribe if you're ready for that level of control. Ignore if you prefer to remain prey. The choice has always been yours.